Welcome back to another GeekaWhat video, and today I'm taking you over the RX480 $750 gaming PC build for 2016. More specifically, your July, August and September months, but given the parts in this build, you're good until well until the end of the year. So with any build, I always get asked, James, how will this build perform in the latest AAA titles and even some of the slightly older titles? This build will smash them at 1080p and 1440p at ultra settings whilst achieving over 60 frames per second. It will smash Overwatch, the upcoming Battlefield 1, it will destroy, obliterate it completely. This build is insane. Even some of the slightly older titles that are really hard to run, such as Crysis 3, you're going to be seeing a sustained above 60 frames per second. Star Wars Battlefront, another great example. You're going to be seeing about 120-130 frames per second on average at 1080 and 1440p with settings cranked all the way up. So let's take you over the parts that make this build possible. The CPU I went for was Intel's Core i5-6500. It's a quad-core CPU and it comes clocked at 3.2 GHz. It isn't overclockable, but overclocking a CPU doesn't tend to give you a better price to performance ratio than if you were to buy parts that didn't support overclocking. The quad-core means that it's compatible with all of the latest AAA titles. It's got good single-threaded performance, meaning that it's great for some of the slightly older titles that only utilise one core, and even some of the slightly newer ones that only utilise that first CPU thread. And more importantly, it's on Intel's Skylake architecture, which means if you did want to swap this out for something later on down the line, you can go all the way up to an i7, which is very capable of editing. You can also get this CPU also supports DDR4 RAM, which just gets you into the new ecosystems and is better for the money even than any of AMD's offerings at the moment. For the motherboard, the Gigabyte H110M-A is a micro ATX motherboard with the LGA 1151 socket, which is very important. The LGA 1151 socket supports these Skylake CPUs, and this motherboard is great. If you want better RAID support, more hard drive support, more NVMe support, more PCIe slots, more PCIe lanes, more RAM DIMM slots, well, not actually RAM DIMM slots in this case because this board is very well equipped, then you want to go up to the Z170 chipset, which supports overclocking. But motherboards don't directly affect your computer's performance, and this motherboard has got plenty of scope for some upgrades later on down the line. You can upgrade the CPU up to an i7 6700K and no doubt the 7700K when that comes out, and it's actually quite future-proofed. The RAM I went for was 1/8GB DIMM of Kingston's HyperX Fury. You can get it in black, white, red or blue. It's got a nice cache latency. It's DDR4, which is great. DDR4 is actually really cheap at the minute and comes clocked at 2133MHz. Whilst you could get a little bit extra performance from some 2400MHz or some 2663MHz memory, it isn't going to give you the best value and it doesn't really affect gaming performance that much anyway, so this RAM was the best option. The storage for this build was a difficult decision. Did I go SSD and hard drive or just a bigger hard drive? In the end, I chose a 1TB Seagate Hybrid drive. It's got 7200 RPM spinning hard drive platters in, which is as fast as your mainstream hard drives get. And it's also got an SSD cache for some of your most frequently used and opened applications. For the video card, this is where it gets very interesting. AMD's brand new RX480 8GB graphics card. It has a crazy frame buffer. In SLI, you can outdo Nvidia's latest 1080, which comes in at like $600. XFX have got a really nice design as well, and I love the RX480. Go and pick it up. It performs phenomenally well. The case is the NZXT S340. You can get it in black, black and blue, black and red, or even black and green, or even white as well. You can get loads of different colours. It steals the best features from NZXT's H440, and it's got like an SSD show-off area, a power supply shroud, room for hard drives, SSDs, up to ATX motherboards, and up to 3 graphics cards, or even 6 single-slot expansion cards. For the power supply, EVGA SuperNOVA NEX 750W not only gives us plenty of headroom, this build only consumes 300 watts, so we've got well over double here. So you could put another graphics card in, you can overclock everything overclockable in this build and you're not going to run out of power. Great power supply, comes in at a great price and definitely keeps this build nice and powered up. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to drop a like rating to show some support, help the channel grow. Make sure to subscribe as well. Follow my Twitter if you want to see a behind the scenes of what goes on. And as always, we will see you in the next GeekaWhat video.